Greetings and salutations. We are back with the Unfiltered podcast. The whole point of this podcast is to talk about gaming with no fucks given and no filters whatsoever. And today we have the wonderful people of, well, I think people already know who you are, but Black Hammer Games. I would like you guys to introduce yourself to the world as individuals. So let's start with Naveen, shall we?
Okay, I'm Naveen, the game designer of the lead game designer of Black Hammer Studios. So
Hi.
Yeah.
Sorry.
yeah, go ahead. That's it. Nothing more to say. I'm the lead game designer of Black Hammer Studios.
Yes. Good of a prompt as any, right?
Yeah.
Sitra, go right ahead.
Hi. I am Sithira and I am the lead game developer of Black Hammer Studios.
Alright, Sohan.
I'm Sohan Gunratna. I would say I acted as the creative director of the whole Forgotten Hope project.
Alright, and Forgotten Home was your first project or was it something that came after? Just let us know.
Sorry?
It was our first project.
Yeah, it
First project.
was our
right?
maiden project, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, maiden project, that's fucking fancy. Alright, so basically from what I'm hearing, Naveen and Sitra handle the development section, Sohan provide the creativity and handling everything else regarding the project, right? Every group needs a good glue to keep it together and to run the operation. I see how it goes.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
Black Hammer Studios is primarily 3 people from the sounds of it, right?
Yes, I mean like me and Sithira, we are the co-founders. Like we are the one who started it. Then Sohan tagged along with us for this.
I would say I don't have any shares. I am not legally bounded with them. I'm just working. That's it. Voluntary work.
Yeah. So like basically me and Naveen are the like full-time
Employees.
employees and they are
Yeah.
like Sohan and then they are like other
I mean,
yeah.
it's like this. Me and Sithira started it. We are the owners of the studio. We are the co-founders. Everything legally, it's in between me and Sithira. But we have a team, for Sohan, and we have like guys who do music, and like we have right now we have like a team who work with us in this.
In every aspect of development process.
That's beautiful. I mean, if it works, don't like go around fixing it, right? That's perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
So we do have to say, game developers in Sri Lanka aren't exactly falling from the sky these days. Like, let's be honest, it's a very small crowd, and from that small crowd, not many end up actually making something out of said passion. But you guys with your maiden project, as Sohan put it as well, kind of did make a mark. So, but before we go into Forgotten Hope itself, I would like to ask, you guys are all part of this project as gamers now. So, what I want to ask mainly Sithira and Naveen is, what brought you guys towards game development in the first place? I mean, there has to be something. What was the driving force? What was the inspiration? So, let's start with Naveen on that regards.
I mean, first of all, we are gamers. Like end of the day, like is from our childhood, we just played game. I consider myself as an introvert, so like gaming was my getaway. And so it happens during 2000, I think 20, right? Right, Sithira?
20, yeah. First wave
During
of COVID.
during the first wave of pandemic, so we were staying at home. So we are just playing GT online.
No, Manul, I think we should mention this, that because both Naveen and myself, we lost our jobs.
Okay.
We
Yes.
were kind of laid off. We were completely jobless, and Sithira was, I think he was on his final year at NSB.
SPM,
Yeah. And both of us lost our jobs, no income, like completely lost. And we found our sanity, we managed to save our sanity inside GTA Online.
GT online.
Okay.
Yeah. Remember,
so
Epic
we were-
Games kind of gave away GTA for free, right?
Epic did, I remember this.
Yeah. So, and then we had we bought the game from Steam.
We bought the game before.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
we were playing, and then everyone came along, tag along for GTA Online because it was free. And then we were running and doing all the weird shit that is on
Los
GTA
Santos was
Online.
our home.
Yeah. So because we couldn't go out to the real world, we met each other on daily basis on Los Santos. That was our
I mean,
playground.
we were online like 24 hours,
Yeah.
like every day. Sometimes we just switch on our computers for days.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we
I
were
think,
grinding on GTA.
grinding, and like
Yeah.
computers are on for like continuously for weeks.
My
Yeah,
God.
and
Yeah.
just like in real life, we grind in the day and we party at the night.
Ah, okay. Did the
Yeah.
party occur within Los Santos? Or?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
we would go mountain climbing, bike riding. We would have these parties, Majang other Mount Chilad, ne? Mount Chilad other foot cycle වලින් යනවා. foot cycle ටිකක් දාගෙන අපි යනවා. අය 4x4 වලින් යනවා. 4x4 වලින් යනවා. So we had those kind of theme parties,
So I think we had like a whole server full of all Sri Lankans, like bunch of
Okay.
all our friends.
Yeah.
And then we were doing all the crazy stuff and then helping each other to grind, doing the businesses and all of that stuff. And then I think we usually log into the game around 8 in the morning and go all the way until 4 in the morning.
Yeah. And then wake up the next morning around 8 again.
Again.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Because like in the meantime, while we are sleeping, our machines are already on.
And
And-
grinding and all the
grinding,
businesses are running. The game, we are still logged into the game.
You all
Yeah,
gamed in the same intensity as Bitcoin miners. That's what I'm hearing.
Exactly.
Yes.
You know what would have made it more exciting? Every time you take a shot in GTA, you take a shot in real life.
So then I would be the only guy who would be alive.
Yeah, because he's the serial killer in the group.
I'm the serial killer.
Oh my fucking god! Hey, don't mimic fantasy too much into reality, buddy.
So yeah, like, I think we are deviating from the question.
Did you fucking
Yeah, so
GTA?
like, yeah. So like we were playing GTA. So that's the whole story about it. So Sitila, like he's like after the degree and he started playing around with the Unity.
Mhm,
So I had some sort of experience in Blender. Like I just like install it
mhm.
and just play around it like and made some things. So Sitira asked one day after like playing around with the Unity, මචං අපි game එකක් හදමු කියලා ඇහුවා. Just game. අපි දැන් නිකන් අපි game ගහනවානේ මම game ගැහුවා ඇතිනේ. Why don't you make it?
Okay.
හදලා බලමු. කොහොමද දන්නේ නැහැ කරන්නේ. මොන ඕනෙයිද දන්නේ නැහැ. We don't know how we are going to do it, but let's make a game. So
Before we come to that, like from my childhood, I had a dream, like ambition to become a game developer, right? So because like I was good at programming and I'm also a gamer, so I want to combine all these fields and like move into game development someday. So after I complete my 4th year of the degree and that's around this COVID times, and then like during that period, like no one can't go apply a CV and go to a company and take a jobs, right? So I decided like, okay, since like now I'm done with the studies and I'm staying home, can't go out, then let's make a game. And I proposed that to Naveen. So
yeah,
we,
you did,
yeah.
I also like I had some experience in Blender and I also like played some games in the game. So I mean like let's start a indie studio like and let's make a small game, small narrative game. A simple, not very complicated. We don't want to complicate things with like going shooting. We don't need to make like the idea wasn't there to make a shoot in the first. So the idea was to make a small game, like a narrative short story, something like that. So that's how we got into the game development.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
it just came.
It just came in a time of
Yeah.
hardship.
experience, yeah.
Yeah. In a
Like
time
we
of
didn't
hardship.
have.
Yeah. Go keep going.
Yeah. We didn't have an experience. Like just started Unity and I just learned Blender and we were like, yeah, let's make a game. Why not?
How long did
Yeah.
you like fiddle around with Blender before jumping into the game? I'm genuinely curious.
I think Blender so what happened was I had a good PC, so it broke. So I had to like replace the motherboard and the processor. So I had to I had i5, so I had to go for i3 and a small motherboard. So I didn't. It wasn't not powerful enough to play games.
Okay.
So what I did was I just installed Blender, and I just
Oh.
started. I don't know what made me want to install Blender. So I just installed Blender one day, and I just followed a YouTube tutorial. That's it.
The stars fucking aligned for you, didn't it?
Yeah,
Well, it,
yeah,
it just goes to show, right? If people want to give it a shot, the elements are there, just give it a fucking shot.
yeah.
And-
I was just installed Blender, and I just followed it. It was like making a hammer.
I see.
So, so
Where is the hammer?
Is that the
Yes,
company
hammer.
slogan? It's the hammer, people.
so yeah, so and I played around with Blender for like, I don't know, maybe 6 months, 7 months, something like that. Then I just stopped. Like after I bought this PC, then I stopped like learning and just stopped fiddling around with Blender. So just like, okay, like, I thought myself, okay, I'm not gonna go in this path because 3D modeling and being an artist is not easy. Like when you're at age 25, like artistic path is not something you choose at the age of 25 or 26 in Sri Lanka.
At the age of responsibilities heavily
Yeah,
weighing off
yeah.
your shoulders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I stopped learning Blender. I just stopped playing around with it. So then after that only Sithira like proposed the idea of making, and then I installed the Blender. Then I just so I didn't put it down afterwards.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
So Sithira, like how did you like get to, like, is it through like the campus degree? Like how did you get into the whole coding part, like especially game development per se? You guys use Unity? What's the deal? Give a background.
So like after A levels, when I was like going to choose degrees, I was looking for any specific game development degrees, and I couldn't find any good one here. So I decided, okay, I'll go with the computer science, and then I'll look into game development after that in my own. And I did the same thing. I completed a degree, and at the end I self-studied Unity, and so I just like Naveen, I just installed Unity and I just followed few tutorials, and so that's it. I keep continued developing the stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's
That's the journey,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah, like
how
we make it sound a bit easy, but I'll tell you, it was a fucking
Yeah.
nightmare to learn those softwares alone. I'll tell you that.
oh god. I tried
Yeah.
dabbling in
And-
Unreal. It did not help. Oh god.
I just started learning Unreal. Like even I bought my graphic card to learn Unreal. Like after only a year, I just install Unreal Engine 5. I am playing around with it and see like where it will take me.
Yeah, man, it's fucking weird. So, what made you come into like this whole journey, manage everything, and join these guys on the like foray of like bringing this to life? What drove you to do that personally?
Personally, I think but I'll give you a bit of a context about Naveen and Sithira. So like I know Sithira for like, I don't know, for like more than a decade or something now. He was a kid and we were managing some Facebook gamer group called Gamers. Yeah, he was admin and I was admin, and we were like, yeah, we were just messing around, and I know him very like since his childhood.
Yeah.
So then like somehow, but like like there are, I mean, I'm now 30 years old, but we have a bit of age gap. But like there are like youngsters, like like they don't have that whole weird attitude and everything. They are really nice kids. So Sithira and Naveen both are really nice kids. I would put up. Yeah, I would just say nice about Naveen though.
Thanks,
Yeah, I would take that away. not about Naveen. But so I had a very good relationship with these guys. I met Naveen on the Comic Con. So
Yeah.
yeah. He
Yeah,
was
I met
Batman, I was
guys.
Deadpool, and
Yeah. We
Sikra
all
was
basically
yeah.
get
We
together
all
and we
met through the Comic Con. Sri Lanka.
yeah.
Sri Lanka Comic Con.
So Sri Lanka Comic Con technically physically brought you guys together for the first time.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hurrah for Comic Con, I suppose.
Yeah.
Now this next line of questioning. I sounds like I'm interrogating you guys. No, the next question I wish to ask all three of you. Okay.
Yeah.
It's also somewhat individualist. But what I want to know mostly is as developers. Yes,
wait,
Sohan,
so-
what's up?
I think I did not finish what I was going to say.
Oh shit! Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought you were mentioning the fact that you guys met in Comic Con. Sohan, keep
Yeah.
going, buddy. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. So we were playing like I told you earlier, like we were playing GD online like complete lunatics, like spending like 16 to 20 hours in game.
Okay.
So all three of us were like I think Sitra and myself, we were the ones who were like completely in the game, and Naveen comes and goes, and Sunera, Vasanth, and all of them were there every single day.
Okay.
So we were like talking like, it would be so cool to make why don't we do our own thing? So, but then I am not into programming or anything. Like I would identify myself as a marketeer. That's my profession.
Okay.
But I spend an awful lot of time playing video games. Like I'm very I'm into good stories. Telling a good story. I see video games as a very good medium as an interactive art. I think that's how I see it.
Sohan has like good analytic skills of video games, I would say.
The Hideo Kojima, the Lankan Hideo Kojima of video games.
Not that far. Yeah. So, and then when Naveen and Sitra came to me, we were like casually talking on Discord, like, why don't we I think we were like having some random fight with a briefer on GTA, but we were talking like, why don't we like do something on our own? We have all of these experiences on the matter, like, like, why don't we put this to good use? Like, yeah, then let's do it. So, and then when Sitra showed me like a bit of some stuff he was making inside Unity, and then Naveen, I got to say like Naveen got the weirdest shit in his head. Like, got to say that, dude got imagination, like, with like the extreme stuff.
That's next level,
Yeah.
Okay.
And so and while Sitra was learning Unity and all of that, like I was kind of thinking like, okay, what? Because I think one thing right from the start we realized that we have a very limited capacity in this matter. So we never wanted to be the next CDPR because what happened to them with Cyberpunk.
Okay.
Yeah, because Cyberpunk, we were all hyped about Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
All three of us were like, we pre-ordered right from the day when Keanu Reeves got on the stage.
We even pre-ordered. We
Right?
even gifted our friends.
Naveen gifted me Cyberpunk.
Even 2 years.
2 years before the release.
Oh god.
That's how we was like how hyped we were.
Yeah.
That time. Yeah.
But all three of us considered Witcher 3 as the benchmark in storytelling.
Hell yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Reach.
So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
So we want we want to say a very good story. We want to tell a nice story, but we don't want to end up being what CDPR ended up being with Cyberpunk. So we kind of had a very clear path. We are not, at least when we are making it, we are not gonna make some absurd claims about we're gonna start it. We are an indie, not a AAA. This will never be a AAA project. This is going to be an indie. It will be rock hard and won't be anything. We are not going to market or promote it in any other way like that. So we started with that idea because we are noobs to this subject. We are gamers,
Yeah,
but we
we
are
want
not
to like
developers.
keep things simple.
Very simple.
Yeah,
We start,
and
we
also
will.
experimental.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So when Sithira started prototyping with inside Unity, and then Naveen was kind of coming up with this early story drafts, we kind of got together and then discuss about like I think we should tell a story that is very relatable to most of us gamers.
Okay.
A lot of us going through on daily basis, especially during, because this was during COVID, because all of us, we can't go out. But I think if it wasn't for GTA, I think honestly I don't think what I would have done during
Yeah.
those few months, because it was really bad for me.
Yeah.
And I think all three of us can relate to that as well. So, and not just all three of us, like so many people can relate to how bad COVID was
Oh, God,
during
yeah.
this 2020. So that's how I kind of like, when they dropped me the idea, I was like, yes, we need to be very simple. I think I kind of made up the framework for the project. I think, like, I mean, I would say like that. And then we kind of came up with the early draft, and then we fine tuned it as it go, and then we started with the early prototypes of the. I think we will be able to show you like a very early build of the game, like the
Okay.
very early conceptual prototype. So, and then we started from that point. It's like what we did was like, I think, Sitra, what was the exact time period of the project? Time duration? When did we exactly
Around
start?
September, right? Like we started on
Yeah, like we started on August or September, and then
2020.
yeah, 2020, and we
Yeah.
finished on May 2021.
May 2021.
Okay.
So that's like around 8
Yeah.
months, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, because all three of us are new to this thing. I mean, we are gamers. Like I said earlier, we are gamers, but we are not game developers. We started with that, so we learned as we go. Mostly
Yeah.
these two, both of them. I give them ideas. Let's do something like this, and Sitra would say like, I don't know how to do it, but then he takes like a week and come later and tell me like, okay, I got it.
All right.
Yeah.
Literally.
So
Yeah, like
Yeah, that's the thing.
I want to add
Yeah.
something with the learn as we go. So
Yeah.
the wolf we had in our game. You have played our game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can see the wolf, like wolf is guiding. So we don't have waypoints.
Yeah.
The wolf is guiding you
Around the
in your journey. So first, our idea was to have a wolf appear, and when you go closer, the wolf disappear and appear somewhere. Then you go there. So we had that kind of guiding the player.
Mm-hmm.
So then we came up with, why don't we animate it? Why don't we like animate the wolf? So I don't have any animation experience. I don't know anything about rigging animation, even Sithira. So like what we did was, so like I told Sithira, so give me a 1 week. I'm gonna learn animations within a 1 week. And like,
yeah, like that's the thing.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
I kind of pushed these two to like. I think I got really. They got really annoyed with me.
yeah,
I got really. I think Sithira was like probably pulling his hair out, planning to kill me or something like that. But like,
Because like our first target period was like to finish this project within 3 or 4 months and release it in the market, and then like start a new one. So that was, like
I keep coming up. No, let's do this. Let's add this. Like, why don't we animate this thing? Like, I keep coming up with stuff.
yeah.
And then like, yeah, okay, so like I tell them this week, or I usually go and visit them during the weekends, and then maybe like 2 weeks later or like half a week later, Sitra, Swan, okay, I think I got it. What do you think? Perfect.
Ah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so,
that's
yeah,
how
that's
3
exactly-
months turned into 8
Yeah.
months.
Into
Yeah.
8 months. Yes.
Oh my God. Okay.
I think
think-
our story was even like changing up until 5 months,
Until-
6
yeah,
months.
yeah.
Yeah.
We like added a lot of things. Then we removed some
Yeah.
stuff because there was some like we want to add bit more stuff. Like then we removed because like
Like I said, Naveen
Yeah.
can be a bit extreme.
Ah.
Yeah.
So-
Because like at first we don't know like our capabilities. Like if we add this element to story, we don't know whether if we can implement this practically or not, right?
I
So
see.
these types of things, like when we do experiments with Unity, and when we learn that we can do this, then I would suggest Naveen, okay Naveen, like we can do something like this, shall we add some element here, right? So that's how we progress that, like for around, yeah.
But I tell you, like, we had a one goal. We're gonna, no matter
Yeah.
what, we're gonna finish this and we're gonna put it on Steam.
So
that-
that's the end goal.
we
Like,
had a
whatever
goal.
we do, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Whatever happened, like, that's our end goal. We're gonna definitely put this on Steam.
Yeah, not just itch.io, not just any platform, just the Steam.
Yeah.
Steam.
Steam.
We're gonna put
Yeah.
it on Steam.
That's it.
End of the story.
Yeah.
Not like we weren't gonna distribute free like any itch.io. Like, we're gonna hit the biggest PC platform in the world. We're gonna put it on the Steam.
Fucking
Yeah.
And even the Steam, like, whole process took about, I think, a month.
Wait, what?
No, more than
More
one.
than
I
one
mean,
month,
it was more than 2 months,
Yeah,
2 to 3
yeah.
months, I would say. Yeah, with the registration process and
Yeah.
all the things.
Like, we
Yeah.
were registering with the Steam and they were asking some documentation. We don't have that. So we were going running everywhere, trying to find some forms, these things, TIN numbers for our
yeah.
company.
Oh, so you guys had to register as a company, like all of that, in order to make the.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay. I
You
did
can
not
put it
expect
on
that.
Steam unless.
Yeah,
That's how actual Black Hammer Studios came to be. These two actually rejected the whole that
Yeah.
as an actual business entity.
It's a
And-
registered company in Sri Lanka.
And the irony is, like, as I remember correctly, we registered it on the same day as Cyberpunk came out.
Yeah.
Ah!
So we were so badly want to play the game, but we were running around. We were running out here and there, like filling forms, taking the paying taxes and everything. Like, we were running around.
So many people. I don't get it. So many people pre-ordered Cyberpunk. Even somebody that will be joining us in a bit. You guys already know who it is.
Yeah.
Pre-ordered Cyberpunk, dedicated their lifeblood into the game. What the fuck happened?
Yeah, we were. I think that was everyone's expression when the reviews and the whole when they actually installed and started playing the game. Like, what the fuck?
I actually okay. Let's. Did we?
Yeah.
Have we set our basis?
Yes, I think we did.
Because I'm glad we went this deep into it, because now people have a good idea. On all
And even like I would add one more thing. Like, when we like first like upload everything to Steam, like I think Steam like first didn't like accept our game, right? Like,
Okay.
we had to change some things. Like, we want
Yeah, because
Yeah,
they
yeah.
have like lots of restrictions
Requirements and restrictions.
yeah,
as well.
requirements, and also like we have to
Yeah.
do some stuff. Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, so I thought the whole stream.
I mean, it's not a very major thing. Like, they test our game and they
It's
give us
the
some
mind.
like give us some feedback. This should change. We need to add more content to the store page, something like that.
Yeah, they have their own standards to add it to the Steam, right? So if we won't match the standards, that they won't allow us to publish it.
Okay, so
on
they
their
basically
platform.
give you reception, like on this could be done, this could be done, this could be added, this should be done.
No, it's not like they are not like reviewing our game. They have their
On
like,
internal reviewing
in-
system before they
yeah.
put the game inside the Steam marketplace.
yeah.
Oh, I see. So this is primarily
we
to do with
need
the
to,
store
like-
page.
Yes,
yeah,
store page and everything. So like we need
Everything,
to
yeah.
properly check everything, check all those tick boxes until they're like, okay, you guys can go ahead.
Did you guys watch the video made by the crap game developer?
I'm not sure. No.
That's bloody brilliant. After the podcast, I'm gonna send you guys the link.
Yeah.
I can't believe Steam has this system from what he's done. Okay. Anyways, let's take a move and move into the other aspects of this. We touched our bases, right? That's what I want to cover, because all everything that comes out of y'all is gold, and I'm gonna like treat it as that. So okay, what I want to know is, now this game, even though this is your first project, and you guys like basically took what you were feeling during that time and then cultivated it into a video game by learning new skills, and we pretty much heard almost the entire journey throughout it all, right? What I want to know is, in terms of development and in terms of coming up with the concept, are there any prior video game experiences that inspired y'all directly? Any other like particular video games that came into mind when y'all are basing the concept off of or whatnot?
Naveen,
Naveen,
I
let's go
think
with you.
Yeah,
Naveen is the
so
best
he
person.
had few. Yeah.
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 Naveen, go ahead.
Like when I started playing games back in 2010,
Okay.
like I didn't have a good PC,
Okay.
so I couldn't play all those AAA titles. So, but I still want to play games. So then I found this whole new gaming genre called indie games, where like side-scrolling games like Mark of the Ninja, then games from Clay Studio, Shank. So I found all these indie studios where even a potato PC can run. So I used to play those games, and like I fell in love with the whole indie genre. So then I played some games like the Firewatch, the What Remains of the Edith Finch, the Vanishing of Ethan Carter. So I played those games, and I found that like there is a lot of underlying programming which goes into this game. But like when you look at in the top, look, I was like, we can make something like that. We can make a narrative game. So that was where the whole inspiration we took from, like games like the Life is Strange, the Firewatch, especially Firewatch, What Remains of the Edith Finch, and also like we got a like really good inspiration at the beginning from an indie developer called, I think, David, right?
Yeah.
David Bell. Yeah, we got like his first game was like First Tree. So we got inspiration from those kind of games. So as you can see, our game is also like very similar to games like What Remains of the Edith Finch. So that's where we took the inspiration when you are developing a game.
Alright, because the indie genre is bloody brilliant. Like Mark of the Ninja and Celeste to this day are like some of my favorite games of all time.
I don't think I like Mark of the Ninja, one of the best stealth game that ever made. Like even it's like a side-scrolling game.
Yeah, side-scrolling stealth. This is something people really approach. I mean, we have shit like Aragami, but fuck it.
Yeah.
Mark of the Ninja.
Yeah.
New for me.
Yeah.
Right. So, holy shit, did do any of y'all? What about Sitra? What about Sohan? Any particular video game experiences that you think helped you go through this journey?
For me, the game Journey, the PlayStation.
Okay.
Because like that, even the character, the player character, no voicing. There's no when you jumped into the game, there's no indication what you're supposed to do.
Oh wait, I think I remember this.
Yeah, check Journey. I think it came out on PS3 first.
Oh wait. Yeah, it's the fucking game set in the desert and you're like a character wearing a robe. I remember this. Yeah, it's just very beautiful. Beautiful, surprising.
Yes, and then the story, it kind of like completely blew my head off. Like like it without saying a single word. But with world interactions and all of that, you can tell a very amazing story. So, Journey is like I think Journey holds a very special place in my heart because the story and the element, it's a very, very simple game, but at the end, like if you're really into the looking very carefully at what the game is trying to tell you, you'll be really surprised with the story ending. So I think that's where my inspiration comes.
Okay.
And because you don't really need to be AAA or like a whole Call of Duty level animation and facial, all of that to tell a great story. Without a single voice, you can tell a story. So I think that's where I started.
5,000 pages of codexes to be collected around the world. Yeah, fuck that noise. Holy shit. Sitra, any particular experiences you'd like to share?
Yeah, so like as Naveen said, I am not like a big indie gamer as Naveen, but so I loved games like First Tree, Gone Home, Firewatch, What Remains of Edith Finch, Vanishing of Ethan Carter. So those kind of like these narrative, story-driven games, it felt most to me, and that's what we were most focusing on.
All right, that works just fine. So what I want to know now is we heard where the reasoning behind the story of Forgotten Hope came from, where it came from in terms of you guys, and a little bit about how the development process happened, and now that you all have completed your, let's just like Sahan said, maiden project, we've gotten to the point where, I mean, you guys even did DLC, if I remember correctly. You guys did like a Halloween themed thing for the game as well.
Yeah.
So now with all of that past us, what I want to know is there a future project in the works? Maybe an additional chapter for Forgotten Hope, or a whole different game entirely? What's the deal here?
So okay, I'll
It's
start with for Forgotten Hope. I think we might do a whole remake. Maybe another like 10 or 20 years.
yeah.
I'm
Okay.
not sure.
Like
Forgotten Hope now in Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah.
But
So I think Naveen is waiting for Unreal Engine
Yes.
50 or something like.
so
So
that's
like,
a possibility. Yeah.
that's like, we might do a remake the one we do
Yeah.
when we release some few projects.
Okay.
For the Forgotten Hope, I think this is it. We are doing some future sales, and that's it. So right now, what we are doing is, like we said, when we started Forgotten Hope, if we did Forgotten Hope right now, I mean, like there would be some lot of things that we would add. Right now, we are in the process of learning, experimenting. I'm also like trying to broaden up our knowledge. That's what we are trying to do right now, rather than like focusing on a game. So we can add some really quality and value added things to that game. So that's what we are focusing on right now.
Mhm.
Future project. See the shall I tell you like some vague idea? This is exclusive things we are telling you.
Exclusive Black Cover,
Yeah.
exclusive reveal. Okay, let's fucking
Yeah.
go.
So like I'm writing a story right now. A big story. Like it has some sort of like it's a very complex story that I'm writing. Like it's not a linear story. The story will not be saying in a linear pattern like the Forgotten Hope. So there may be some time jumps. Like I'm not going to say. It's not a time travel thing.
It's like we are spending like most of the time designing the like coming up with the story and perfecting the story before we jump into development now. So that's what
we are like,
even it takes 2 years of time. That's what we want to do. Like while we are gathering knowledge.
I think like what we are. I mean, I'm not directly involved with this. There is going on.
Yeah. Before I'm gonna tell. Finish it.
The exclusive reveal for you as well, I suppose.
No, the thing is, I think what these two are trying to do is what we kind of messed up during Forgotten Hope's production.
Exactly.
Because we didn't really finish the story. We like I said, we were learning as we go, and it kind of got us into so much trouble because we had so many great ideas, but we had no idea how to implement them, or like properly how to not just implementing, but like how to express or say it. I mean, like for a story, we need to somehow properly express it to the player.
Yeah, sometimes we would have to like change the whole game environment just because we had some few dialogues. Because so sometimes we would cut some dialogues because the we didn't have enough space in the environment to tell it. So that those kind of things were happening like every time.
Every week we had to do modifications either to the story or to the game, like cut content or add content, and then probably pull each other's hair, and then like stuff like that. So I think this is because back then we didn't have a lot of time. Like Sithira said, like let's finish this in 4 months and get over it. But because we want to come up with we don't want to sell a half-baked product. We want to tell the real story, build a proper game, and then sell it.
I mean,
Yeah.
like if you
Yeah.
like look at these like now today's storytelling, I mean, like we need to have some complexity in the storytelling. We just want to like we don't want to say okay, this is from A to B. Like we don't want to tell a story from A to B. We want to tell it from like A to D to C to F to G. Like we want to like scramble the player around and we want to tell some sort of a complex story where the end like you get the whole like wow idea. So that's what we are trying to focus right now. And I'm going to say the major foundation of that story is done. Foundation is like that, but now we want to like build the wall and build the roof and everything. So it's going to take time.
Yeah.
It's going to take a lot of time. Like it's so much draining to write the story, but it will come out, but not anytime soon.
Yeah.
That's good enough.
Let's just say coming when it's ready.
It's ready. That's perfect. Okay, I want before we move into the footage that we're gonna get in regards of the early build, right? I want to ask you this, and I'm asking this sincerely. For example, when I heard about Forgotten Hope, and I ended up, I played it. I played it to the point where I got all the achievements except for one, that stupid fucking final achievement. I don't know where to fucking get it. I gave up after a point, okay?
No stone unturned, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right? But it was bloody fantastic. I loved it. I said a review to it. That's how I, without even knowing, I guess met Sithira because he added me on Steam because I reviewed the game, right?
Yeah.
But how was the overall reception like? I have to ask, how, like, was it what you not like? Was it exactly what you hoped? Like, because people paid attention to this, right? How did you deal with the reception, like, and how was the experience of like hearing these people talk about your game, something you put your lifeblood into for 8 months?
Yeah. It was for me, honestly, it was more than I expected. Like, it was very positive. Yeah. And when we were developing, one of our main concern was like we are tackling a very mature topic here, and what would be our message to the society, like if we didn't do the execution right here. So, and we were worried, like if not just the reviews but the impact on the society, how it will end up. And I think both the impact, I mean the message we are trying to say, and the reviews for the games are perfectly well
Kind of
yeah,
far more better than we expected.
better
Yeah.
than
Far
Yeah.
more better than.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, I think
telling-
what like Sithira said, because the whole stories are very sensitive, and you need to be very careful about what we are discussing in the game. And so we kind of asked, I think Sithira asked around some people who actually
into mental
was it?
health.
Into mental health and like all of that. So we kind of did the background research on it before finalizing the story, because we didn't want to give a bad idea or bad experience at the end, because this is very sensitive. If we get something wrong, it will completely ruin us.
I get
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even the ending, like we had a lot of like ending. We didn't know how the player would take the ending, because it's not just like, it's not telling someone to like, when someone is down, it's not like saying him like don't be depressed.
Yeah, that's
We are
the dumbest
telling-
fucking thing you
Yeah,
can do.
yeah, we are telling don't be depressed in a particular way and a particular way, and where player have to like think and see, man, what the hell happened? Like we want to get that right. I think we achieved it.
Yeah.
I think with the reviews,
Fucking
like,
persuasion
even
is a
the-
bad idea, but changing perspective, really good.
yeah, exactly. So even right now, the 75% of our sales are from not from Sri Lanka. It's like around, like I think Sithira, America, like
around the world.
around the world. Yeah. So only 25% sales are in here.
Mhm.
So I think game is still like selling maybe one copy per week, something like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
like
So
in the like the sales periods are the times like we get most of the sales.
yeah.
Yeah,
Early
So
during
like
release, right?
yeah, reception was good. Bloody hell, it was perfect.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, like we didn't like think that it will go like even after like after a year we still talk about it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope this ends up being the driving force for the next game. By the way, I hope
Yeah,
a
yeah.
lot.
Yeah, yeah.
So, people, do you think it is time for us to unveil the early footage that we have of Forgotten Hope?
Yes.
And we are back after the build showcase, and luckily enough, you should be able to see the special guest that we've been mentioning that will be joining this podcast. Vasanth, beloved voice actor of all, would you like to introduce yourself to the masses?
Hi guys, I'm Vasanth Kahandola. I am the voice of the father and the narrator for the game that you guys have been seeing, and yeah, really happy to be here to join the team Hammerfall with their podcast.
Holy shit, okay. Now, I have done. That's the most formal way I've seen you talk. So yeah, you had to give me like props for being like stressed for a second there. So
Yeah.
More will come down the line, but till the moment.
and you're welcome to do so. Was I have to ask, okay? Like
Yeah.
you're also an admin, right? And a very
Yep.
well-known page. Would you mind giving us some
Yep.
background on that?
Yeah, sure. So, Geek Club of Sri Lanka, I've been adminning the page since I believe 2012.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably one of the largest geek clubs or geek related clubs on Facebook right now. We have about 25,000 members and counting. I have to rule that place with an iron fist because of reasons, but it's a decent group, and we've got lots of people contributing. Apart from that, I'm also one of the committee members for Lanka Comic Con. And yes, I know lots of people are wondering when the next Comic Con is, but we're just being a bit, you know, let's
Even
just say we're being
Even
sympathetic
us
and
we were
sensitive.
talking about it.
Yeah, man.
But we're
Yeah,
being sensitive
Manu,
with
so-
the current
so-
situation.
I think
it's cosplays, but we don't know the dates.
Yeah, man. Come on.
No, it'll be a surprise, you know. We'll tell you the day before, so you guys have to bloody random get your act together and bring you again.
Well, Vasan, in case you didn't know, these guys were just telling us their story, and they mentioned that the first time they physically met was at Comic Con. So, in a
Yes.
sense, the inception of
he kind of led the path to all of this.
Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ, man! You have your hand
Yeah,
in every
yeah,
honeypot, don't you?
Stars aligned, man.
Yeah,
They
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
fucking aligned.
yeah,
Destiny
I-
brings people together.
yes.
My God, you're talking metaphors right now.
It's close to midnight when we're recording this,
Yes.
so I guess you're getting. We're
You
having
know,
our Aristotle.
that's something I really believe. Like, if something is meant to happen, it will happen.
Man,
So,
and that's
God.
Aristotle version too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but hey,
Yeah.
that is true, right? I mean, look,
Yeah.
whatever happened. Lankan Comic Con happened. Here are you guys, and then
Yeah.
development happened, and here is Vas doing the voice.
Yeah.
control
Fast
and,
again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bloody hell.
A full circle.
Full circle, yeah.
Yeah.
Around the rosy in this rich. Okay, so Vas, tell us
Yeah.
about how you found yourself involved in voicing in Forgotten Hope. Like,
Well, like the boys said, met at Comic Con, and we've been well. It's coincidental that we are on a channel called Game Changer. We are on Discord right now,
mhm.
and let's say our core passion is gaming, right?
Mhm.
all of us, we've been gaming together, whether it was GTA or whether it was Overwatch or recently Red Dead Redemption. You assholes don't turn up anymore. Whether it's a whole, it's just us gaming together. We have that passion, and among other things, it's not just about movies and all that stuff. And so one day, Hammer sent me a whole script, and he's like, "Yeah, I need your help with this." So I sat down and we started with the script. I had no idea what was coming next. All I knew was I was just helping him rewrite certain aspects of the script, and he had this whole brilliant story put together. I added a little bit of grammar and other stuff to it, and then ultimately we had this brilliant script, and then he drops the bomb. Okay, now that
the ending.
now we need you to voice. It's like, what? I was like, yeah, we need your voice. It's like, okay. And so we met at Sitara's house, and we started recording. And I mean, I don't know, man. I just did what I normally do, but these guys are like, "Oh my god, we've never heard a voice like this." I was like, "Calm down, guys. I mean, this is just voicing." But I was, all I had in my mind, in my head, was a concept, an idea, a story, and just what I was adding to it. I had no idea till I saw the game, and bloody hell, that was just shocking to me. I mean, forget everything else. It was, from the beginning of the game that I played in its beta mode till when I came to the end, I was at tears. I won't lie. And I'm manly enough to say that also. And bloody hell, man. When you see the product, I mean, if you haven't played the game yet, you guys need to, seriously, because it's more than just a game. It's dealing with a topic that's very personal to me, as somebody who's tried to off myself 3 times. This was something that was very dear to my heart, and I'm just blessed to have been a part of the project.
That was quite the Shavas.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for opening up in this regards. Actually, was this your first foray into video game voicing?
Oh yes,
Alright, how was
been
it? How was
voiced
the experience?
yes, brilliant. It's very straightforward. These guys had everything ready. There was no, nothing that was confusing or anything. Everything was very well planned on their part. I just had to go in. Script was there. I already worked with Naveen on the script with Hammer X, but the actual voicing and all that was smooth, easy, simple. I just went in, I had a few lines, did my lines, and that was it. There was no challenge, no
Yeah, I
difficulty.
mean, like when Vasanth, read the script, and everyone in the room was like, man, this was like,
Yeah.
I had no idea. These guys were like, oh, man. I was like,
we were like, oh my god, like this is the dream voice.
I was like,
I don't know. That's we get the idea to make another game centered on something.
At that time, I told Sitra, next game he will be the lead voice actor.
Oh!
Hey, thanks, guys. That's really privilege. But yeah, it was. I have to say, it was. I've done voicing for radio. I mean, I've been on radio. I've done voicing for Cargills. I still do. I've done voicing for some TV commercials as well. But if I compare that with the experience I had, it was just one day. One day, maybe 2 hours or 3 hours. It was so easy, so straightforward, no complications, and it was. I think 1 or 2 takes and we were done. And I was like, when I saw the final product, I was like, bloody hell. Well planned, well done, well executed.
Well, actually, Vas, we do actually have footage of you voicing this. We should play after this snap.
You may feel like giving up. You may feel like no one cares. No one wants to talk to you. to understand how you feel, to empathize with what you're going through. You may feel like you're all alone and your life is not worth fighting for, that it's time to end it all. You're wrong. You are so much more than you give yourself credit for. You're always in someone's thoughts. You are not alone. You are loved and appreciated, even if it's not expressed in words, a message, or in a chat.
My father and I have a lot in common, especially in that we both keep things to ourselves. We hardly talked, except when we were at the dining table, when the whole family was together. Grace would join us from time to time, and when she was with us, we would be more talking than eating. Sometimes I think back, did I take those moments for granted?
Oh, yeah, that footage is as India as it gets. Sitra, who did we just see? That's not Vasanth in the footage. What was that? voice?
Yes. So that was Lakshi who did voice for our main protagonist, Hope. And by her side there was Kavin, he's my friend who did the audio engineering part and the recording sessions, as well as Utpala, who is the composer of the Forgotten Hope soundtrack, who did 15 original soundtracks for our game.
Okay.
It's available on Spotify also.
Yeah, it's available on Spotify right now. If you go to Spotify and search, you can see Forgotten Hope soundtrack.
Oh?
Yeah.
Just type Forgotten Hope.
OST?
Wait, let me.
Or even in Apple Music or any
it's there!
streaming platform.
It's there!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Link will be in the description. Don't worry.
Right.
The first idea was to have some free music downloaded from the internet. So they are like Creative Commons license music.
Mhm.
So then we found this friend of Kavin who is Utpala. So we asked him, Majang, කොහොම පුළුවන්ද මේ ට්‍රැක්ට් එක නා හරියයි කිසි අවුලක් නැහැ කරමු කිව්වා.
It's also like a very enthusiastic composer who would like, who would like love to involve himself in any project we do. Like he gave us like a really good support in this project.
and then I think the very first track he made for Forgotten Hope, it was like full Halo level, like
Full blown up track, like
Yeah.
it was like a prototype music track. So
it was like too epic.
We told him Malli, like you need to tone this down, like you need to make this sad. Then we came up with this nice soundtrack. I remember first time I was playing the game with the soundtrack, I was there in the main menu. Man, it was like I knew like this is then only like then and there I told myself, what this is I'm going to do for the rest of my life. It was fucking brilliant.
The spirit of collaboration really feels strong when every element comes together. Holy fucking shit! I can imagine that. Wow. So actually, what I do have to ask is, I need to cover all my bases with Vast, because again, you've been a fascination addition to the team with what you've done and what you're about to do in the future of Black Hammer Studios games as well, from what I'm hearing at least, right?
I mean, I don't know. I don't even know what it is.
So Vast, what do you do? So you voice act, you fucking game, you voice act in different areas, and like, but what is it the main thing that you do? What is Vasanth?
You're talking about a day job. It's basically managing a studio that is specialized in miniature painting. We paint miniature figures for clients mostly from the US, Europe, but mostly from the US. And these are figures that or miniatures used for tabletop and wargaming. I mean, some of you might know Warhammer. I mean, all the games that are coming out now. So Warhammer is one. It started off as a tabletop game, and still that's their core business. So we have a lot of clients who are into professional Warhammer games. We are talking about tournaments where they have full-fledged battles. So a lot of clients want their armies painted in particular themes and all that. So that's something we do, and we've got an operation of about 20, almost 20 people. And that's what I work on during the daytime. I'm managing or working around and getting the operation going, which is a lot more strenuous these days. Thank you, GOSL, and the wonderful people there, right? And with all of the economic and socioeconomic factors, I'm happy to say that because of the planning and the execution of the owner of the company. We are in a relatively good place, and we are pushing ahead. But it's difficult. What pisses me off more than anything else right now is because of all that, gaming time is limited.
of
And
course.
yes. So, but then again, you got to survive these days. That's more than anything else.
Yeah.
Apart from that, I'm the father of 5 cats.
Oh.
And yeah, it's a very other than the work, it's really a very mundane life. I wouldn't say anything
Holy
specific.
shit. I mean, regardless, your life still sounds fascinating, and your love for cats is duly noted, and the place you work sounds fascinating. So,
Oh,
yeah, hell yeah. So, yeah, now I want to ask a few general questions from each and every one of you. Very opinionated questions, but again, I feel like these things should be discussed, right?
Sure.
And the first question is, as budding developers, as budding video game developers in Sri Lanka, this is mainly for the Black Hammer group, right? What can we expect in like a few more years within Sri Lanka, within Sri Lanka's developer community? Like you've seen all the latest projects, right? And you yourselves have worked on a project relatively recently as well. What can we as gamers expect to have come out of Sri Lanka, like in the next few years? Let's start with Naveen.
Yeah, so the way I can see it, the beginning of the Sri Lankan gaming was like we were trying to tackle a market, like how do you say, like I'm gonna say it like this, we were a lot of Sri Lankan game developers, like in the beginning, that they were trying to be a AAA.
Okay.
Like the thing is, in Sri Lanka, there are no AAA game, only AA game studios.
Mhm.
So right now, I see a shift in the right direction. Like I can see that game developers are focusing more on storytelling rather than the gameplay. Because like when you make a game, a shooting game, you will be always compare to games like COD, The Division. It happens.
Battlefield.
Yeah, the heavy hitters.
Battlefield.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you make an open world game, no matter how hard you try, it will be compared to the GTA.
If it's story oriented, Witcher, I am assuming.
Yeah. So I think I see a bit of shifts in the direction where Sri Lankan developers are trying to come up with their own thing, own story. Because
Okay.
like you see the last, we have the talent in Sri Lanka. There's no doubt about it. There is talent, but we lack the vision. I think like we need to understand like where we are at the world. Like we can't spend millions and millions of like dollars to projects like this, in Sri Lanka.
Mhm.
I think it's like forgotten hope. I'm going to tell you, the whole budget was 30,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
That is
30,000 rupees, and 10,000 we spend it to the Steam. Like you had to pay $100 to get your game up
Yeah.
and run.
okay.
So like everyone who joined in the project, like they saw our vision and like they like we paid all the artists like who joined us, like the music guys and everything. After we earn some income, but the so like because they believed in our project. So like I said, like if you need in Sri Lanka, I think you need to have some sort of vision. I think what we lack is right now is a vision, to make a really good game that stand out. Like if you see a game like First Tree, just check out and see. It's a game made by a solo developer, and it has made like I think more than 200,000 sales.
My God.
That's what inspired us to get into the gaming thing. I think in Sri Lanka we are learning, right? Like I think we have learned. Like you can see the past games that they have released. I'm not going to mention the game. The game, which was a co-op game, it was released I think 2 years ago. It is still in early access.
I think I know what this is.
Yeah, they still haven't like fully released. Like still in early access. So we need to avoid those. We need to fully release the game. I'm not saying like. So the thing is, like a lot of Sri Lankans are like using our game as a what you call like a benchmark. like a lot of people do that. Then we'll get that like so. Like I'm not like boasting ourselves. Like yeah.
In terms of storytelling, I
think what I need to add is like this was never about money. This was a passion project for all of us.
Yeah.
I think because
we knew our strength. We knew what we can
played
do.
to our strengths.
Yes, and the Sri Lankan developers, I mean, they are like, if you see other studios, they have massive talents.
Yeah.
You know, they could have made a game like Forgotten Hope within a month.
Pretty much like that, yeah.
Just like this, they could have made it. It wouldn't take them 8 months, just like we had. So I think if they can like see the market, then if they can see what the gamers want, then and if they focus a game to an international platform, I mean we can see we can like really like change the game here in Sri Lanka game development.
That actually is a valid way of looking at it. So Vas, Sithira, you guys have anything else to add on this?
Yep. So one thing I had to add on top of what Naveen said is like the most of the studios trying to tackle a very narrow market here, like on targeting audience, like mostly targeting on Sri Lankans and like then not like focusing on many international audience. So I would say that should be corrected, right? I mean, we should always tackle the global market because Steam is not a limited platforms only, like a regional limit. There are not any regional limitations or nothing like that. So like we can tackle anyone in the world with a single game. So I think that's also one important part that any studio should adapt when making games.
Okay. Vas, anything to add in terms of like game development? You've seen plenty of things happen.
Lanka Comic Con, we've been trying to, I mean, when we had the event going on pre-corona, we were trying to give a platform to all the developers we could find. And this is just my personal observation, nothing to do with the organization. Just my personal observation, which is very much in line with what both Hammer and Sithira said. Naveen and Sithira said was the thing I've seen, and I'm speaking as a layperson who barely knows anything about development. You need to have your goal in place in mind and then work from there backwards. I mean, what's happening now is I've seen so many brilliant projects come up, and there are some that are now nearing completion, but there's no updates. There's nothing. There's no what's happening with this as is going forward. Now, yes, Sri Lanka has had all kinds of problems. We had to deal with Corona first, now with the economic crisis. But if you have your goal in mind and if you start with that plan with that in your mind and then work across seeing how you budget it, Can you do this? Can you do that? That's where I think the success comes in play. Uh, Citra Naveen gave an example of one game. There's another game by a Chinese developer,
Bright memory.
uh, Bright Memory.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
So,
again, one guy, right?
Yeah.
And look at where that game has gone. They have taken that guy maybe 5, 6 years. I don't know, but it was one guy who's somehow put that together, and the game is what it is right now on Steam. And
And I guess Nvidia sponsored RTX for that game as well.
for
right?
that game
Yeah,
as
So,
well, right?
yeah.
shit.
It's like Sohan said, if you have the passion, right? If your focus is not on, okay, how popular will this game be? How much revenue am I going to make out of it? And instead, it's about, this is what I want to put together, right? This is what I envision, and this is how I'm going to put my vision down. That's it. Because yes, we're limited on budget, we are limited on resources. So do what you're capable of doing, put it together, and put it out there. Put the finished product. If you're going to put a product that's undone, I'm sad to say this, right? This is unfiltered, so I'm just going to say it.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, Sri Lankans, we are very good at procrastinating. Right, we'll come to a point where we're like, we're putting all this together, and then suddenly, shit, now we're going in this direction, this problem, tackling that problem, and then we go all the way around, and then when you come back to dealing with that original problem, at that point we're like,
Ah,
or that enthusiasm is burnt up, right?
Yeah.
So we have a lack of focus, and I think if and we are waiting for, can this be done? Do we have this technology? Do we have that taste? Do we have this in place? Do you have that? No. What do you have in hand? What are the resources you have? If we saw anything from Forgotten Hope, started with basic resources, a small budget, or 1/3 of the budget basically gone, just put the game on Steam, and still, right, you have a finished product, just like Naveen said. That's the direction we should adopt. We have to stop thinking, oh, we are with this whole EA, Ubisoft, all of that. The downside with all of these studios, they are just getting gobbled up by bigger studios, and it's just going to keep going that way. To me, the future is in indie gaming, right? I've said this 3 years ago. I said this 5 years ago. I'll say it even now.
yeah.
Quality games, quality entertainment is indie gaming. You want all the splash and all of that, then you have products like Saints Row reboot,
Of course.
so much of hype, all of that, and ultimately what, so to me the future is indie gaming, and indie gaming because those are passion projects, right? Naveen loves Hades, right? And there's a reason why, right? That game is bloody brilliant, right? Like the concept behind it, all of that. Execution, straightforward, no complications, right? Games like that are brilliant. So I think we need to really scale down, how we approach this. Some people are not going to like this, I'm pretty sure, but I'm sorry, this is my opinion. But we need to scale down on what you can do, what we can do as developers, with especially where a country where something that would cost 100 rupees is now about 1,300 rupees, right? We have to really think from that perspective and see, okay, these are the resources we have, these are things we can do. What can I do with that? And go and do it. Do that. I'm sure, right? Step by step, stage by stage, will come to a point where passion projects are going to flood, not just flood, they'll overwhelm the market, and they will, Sri Lanka is really going to stand out. But again, layman's perspective.
A potential future, you'll never know, right?
You never know.
So let's now we've approached the fun part of this podcast. Okay, again, if serious topics to game development to everything, we've done it all up to this point, and we even got to see a little bit of like the early development path of Forgotten Hope as well. But now I guess it is time, as they would say, to get to know the people a bit better. So this next question is open season. People can jump in, respond whatever you like, and argue if you want to. I honestly don't mind.
Starting with it.
as a retro gamer myself, I'm asking this. A retro, as in I'm just that new age fucker who plays old games on emulator and considers himself to be. Oh, I wish I was born in the 80s, right?
I can say that.
Right. So as people, as people and as gamers that have been living on this earth for a long time, you guys have been in that era where you guys see the technologies and the games change over time, right? Probably when the 2D to 3D transition happened, yada yada yada. I'm mainly pointing at Bas because he was definitely alive during that time.
God.
So how did you enjoy the changes and improvements that happened in the game field of gaming? The transitions, the new technologies, the new 3D, RTX, all of this. How do you see all of this happening in the field of gaming? I want to know your perspective, basically.
Shall I start?
Go for it now.
Yeah. So the future of gaming, this is a very big question. Yeah.
You want a bottle?
So I think the future of game development, it's the accessibility. Everyone can jump in and join these days. You have the Unity, you have the Unreal, everything is out there free. Even the Blender, you can pretty much do anything.
Oh,
with it.
I need to add, this is not just game development. I mean gaming in general. A lot of things changed over time now. So it's all these new technologies, all of this, how games are so different now than they used to be. How do you find that change?
So basically, if we put in a single sentence, if someone go into into another 10 years of time, and when they look back, they would say 2022 games. What the shit was that?
Pretty fucking much.
That's pretty much sounds. I mean, man, the technology is going crazy these days.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know, how I should get more technical about this. You can see the RTX, the real time lighting, the AI upscaling.
Yeah, I mean, when we jumped into game development 2 years ago, in 2020, the things we were worried and we had to do a lot of optimization and concern. Right now, if we take this part to the future, we are seeing in near future, we won't have to we don't have to worry about any of these things.
Especially when you had to make lightings, right?
These are as developers' perspective.
Yeah,
right?
so
developers' perspective.
I'm assuming you're about
So-
to say Unreal 5's lighting thing, right?
Yeah. So the future of gaming, you can use real time, you can use you don't have to worry about the polygon.
Yeah.
It's easy. When you think about it, you can just focus on the creative aspect. When it comes to developing, you don't need to know about code. You need to know about logic, but you don't need to know about coding because you have blueprints in there. It's really easy to get in there. Future of gaming is I don't know. It's it's upward and onward.
we have
Let-
we have the developer's perspective from Naveen and Sithira.
I think what
Yeah. I
I will add is
I want Vasanth and Sohan, especially because y'all have been on this earth for a long time. Pretty sure. I want to see the 2D and 3D change. How did y'all deal with that? I want to hear you two now.
I would say for me, I think video gaming is the future of storytelling. I think GT is the biggest entertainment product in the world, the GTA 5. So you can experience, it's not just reading or watching a 2D movie or anything like that. You can literally immerse yourself within the character and the story and all of that. And now VR, AR and all of that technologies are coming together, metaverse and all of that is coming together.
Mm.
And I think if anyone has experienced Minecraft VR,
I
that's
want to so bad. You have no idea how bad I want to do it, man.
I haven't, but I've seen some videos. But crazy, like you fully dive yourself, like all your sensors. I mean, maybe I think you can't feel the game. That's it, but you can fully immerse yourself in
Like
the whole product.
I remember some ordinary gamer like Modaha, the YouTube channel. He made a video where he spent an entire day in Minecraft VR. He slept in it. He did like all of that stuff, and it was the most immersive fucking experience I've ever seen translated into video. Because like the
Yeah, so I think
Minecraft sounds coming as you wake up. Yeah. Keep
so I
going. I'm
think
sorry.
that's where it's going, and I'm pretty sure in the future, like we'll have the technology to like maybe let people experience video game. I mean, not maybe in their homes or maybe in a cinema. Maybe we don't know, because now Unreal is used in Mandalorian and all Star Wars, like all of these big product budgeted movies as well. So all of these video game technologies are coming to all of the other entertainment forms. So maybe like, and back in the day, my parents and everyone around me they were like, "What are you doing? Why are you spending so much time on video games?" Like, but now we are actually making money out. That's where the future is. I mean, you need to play games to know games. You need to know.
Exactly.
That's the thing, because that is one of the. And if any, like, let's say, like a parent or someone is watching this podcast, and if your child is into gaming, I don't really recommend addictive, going all crazy, spending, focusing, losing their focus on studies and all. But if the kid is actually enjoying video games, like let them play, give them that chance to develop their creativity or their thinking, or like, I mean, that's what got us here,
Yes.
because
Exactly.
our experiences, I mean, we've been playing video games as long as we can remember, and that logic and the thinking. I mean, okay, one thing, while we were developing Phototom, I was asking questions like, what if I'm the player, and does this implementation help me to immerse myself? We need to ask questions from the player perspective, not the developers, because we are selling it to millions, and if they don't like it, then it's a failed product. We need to appeal or understand what the player is doing. So that's where the key is. I think that's one of the main reasons why we succeeded in our project game as well.
Okay.
So the future is, it can be video gaming, but we need more creative minds behind it. The passion, it needs to come from your heart, not one should not look at it as a money making business.
Yes, like
It is, the business is there, but you need to put your heart and your thoughts and everything into it, I think. And with all the available, the way the technology is developing, developing is accessible. It's becoming very easy. Like, I mean, you can look up on Google, YouTube, and learn from a tutorial, and then the next day you can publish a game to Steam.
Now
All you need is the creative. You need the creativity. You need to think out of the box. You need to think like a gamer.
right
And
now you are only limited like
by your vision.
and your imagination. Technology is there.
Technology is there.
I can imagine like RPG engine and all that stuff. We have a shit ton of things that people can use to access like easily make games, right?
Yeah.
Was
Yes.
For that, I would add a little thing. Like I would say in another generation or two, there will be like AI is like Mid Journey that could make games in a sentence.
God, that would be weird.
That would be. I mean, I'm fully
So
supportive of Mid-Journey.
that's where we are heading with these blueprints and all that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, you are really like breaking the barrier between like the realist the gaming world and the real world. Like we are like at the point of that breaking, like even the graphics. I mean, like sometimes you like can take a screenshot and you cannot see like if it's a game or not. Like
Yeah.
like immersiveness, the technology, it's going up. Yes, I mean they have no plateau right now.
Yeah.
So it's going up, 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 and like it's the future of
It's the future.
entertainment.
It's the future of
Yeah,
entertainment.
I'll be honest. I'm not looking forward to a game where games can be created with a sentence. Because
No, I was actually
Yeah,
kidding. Yeah,
yeah.
if it does happen, right? Like I understand images, I understand art, right? But things like music and gaming, where like a lot of like the human element is mostly there, right?
Yeah.
I feel like human element should be there because it's made by humans. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the AI would never know depression.
Fucking exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
AI cannot make a game like forward.
Really,
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Wow.
Really, the AI would end up being Skynet if they end up analyzing
yeah.
Oh,
money.
yeah.
That's the whole other case. But yeah,
Nah, Vas, I want to know. Okay, now you should have a different perspective from everybody else from the stories
yeah.
that you. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
starting with 1986, Commodore 64.
Okay.
I mean, seeing the evolution of gaming from something like Frogger, where you had just little blocks, and then ping pong, and then going from there to the Genesis, which I begged my dad for I think 6 years straight, because I saw this at my cousin's house. Now, so we were abroad, and we come to Sri Lanka every 2 years. So, 92, I came to Sri Lanka, and that was 3 years after the Genesis was out, and I was seeing my cousin, playing all these games, Sonic and all this other stuff, and I was like,
Oh, my favorite
crap,
franchise.
the shift. And then from there, computer gaming also was around, I think, my first foray into proper 3D computer gaming was with this game called Siberia. There are two Siberias.
Ah,
This is
yeah,
not the SY Siberia. This is a CY Siberia, and
Ah.
this is
Yeah, I thought it
Really
was like
intense.
the narrative game.
no, this is different. This was
Yeah.
like this is just the cutscenes, right? And I was like, at that mind blown, because now if I look at it, I'll be like, what Swan said, what the fuck is that? But back then, it was insane. It was insane seeing how from where, because I was always behind in catching up to technology, costs, and affordability, etc., etc. But the observations I would be seeing, and then got my hands on computer magazines, because back then we didn't have the internet, we didn't have Facebook and all that. So in the magazines you would see all these things, and then Outrun, all of that, and then the gradual move towards disc media. From disc media, the possibilities that were unlocked, and you saw stuff when the first PlayStation. Now that's when the first PlayStation came out, is when my father finally bought me a Genesis,
Oh,
and
I
that was
must
when I
have been.
finished my O levels. Yeah, but hey, at least they were able to cram a shit ton of games into one cartridge, so I was able to catch up with all of those. But it's at that point when I properly got into PC gaming, and that's when I think it was my first proper sandbox game was GTA 3. Now, this is how funny it was, because this is how behind I was. I didn't understand frame rates, and so I'm playing GTA 3 on a Pentium 4 with onboard graphics, and this is one. Now, back then, Pentium 4 had a huge lineup. So this was the base end one that my parents could afford. Onboard graphics, maybe about 16 MB of RAM, if I remember correctly, and we had a bloody hell. I can't even remember how many MB was the storage. But anyways, GTA 3, and I'm like losing my mind, right? On the opening sequence, you're on that bridge when you're escaping from the cops. It's going. So I thought this is artistic. I thought, it's only much later I realized I was playing the game at 8 frames per second, 8 or 10 frames per second. Right? Because, like, literally, the end of that year, I went to a friend who had a dedicated GPU, and we saw, holy shit, what the fuck have I been playing all this time? Right?
Yeah.
And then Vice City came, which is better optimized, and then from there, you came to San Andreas, and I'm taking GTA as the goal as a central listing, but just to show the evolution I've seen is insane, and something that was very weird to me that Jensen from Nvidia said was like Moore's law is dead. I think he is absolutely wrong. I think it's the exponentiality is not going to end anytime soon. RTX definitely got into it because of Cyberpunk. right? I took the trouble, put the money together. I was now on my own man. I'm not relying on anybody. So I put my machine together just to experience that technology.
You know,
Just because of one game.
I want to add one thing. You know, uh, when we release, like when you're gonna make the game, like me and Sidra, we were discussing. මචන් මේ අපි ගේම් එක ස්ටීම් එකට දාලා අපේ එන සල්ලි වලින් අපි ආර්ටිකස් කාඩ්යක් ගමු කියලා කිව්වා සයිබර්පන්ක්
all of you guys are people who spent a lot of money surrounding Cyberpunk.
No. I'll be honest, none of these fellas bought the game.
On top of that, I went to a CDPR presentation at Sydney one time.
Oh,
And I just got a exclusive merchandise from CDPR.
wait, do you have it? What is it?
Yeah, it's a Cyberpunk T-shirt.
Oh,
Right?
okay.
Yeah.
That's it.
But
Yeah.
it's what I'm
Yeah.
trying to bring there is like with each generation and with each iteration and with each advancement in graphics, the gold standard is just going to keep changing, right? But
Yeah.
that said, like I said, indie gaming to me is still like very powerful and very it's a huge part of gaming, and indie gaming still runs on. You'll have your 64-bit, you'll have your little
That's
retro-
one thing I want to add, like to what Vasanth is saying, like there's still pixel graphic games are coming.
Yeah.
There's
Yes.
still 2D game graphics are coming. Like they recently what they released the Cult of the Lamb.
Mhm.
part of
I really want to try that game. So you can see, like, even though there are like exponential growth in the gaming graphic, the industry, people still make RTS game, point and click. They make the recently Monkey Island.
Monkey Island. Yeah, I saw the new Monkey Island game.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you can see, like, still, like, people are making 2D games, pixel game, RTS game. Like, it's not dead.
If you go far enough into the future, the limitations of the past end up being art. That's just how
Yes.
it is.
Yes.
Holy
Exactly.
And this evolution will go both sides. It's going to be
Yeah.
further pushing, like you guys were talking about Unreal, and I saw some of the footage when they did the presentation. It's like bloody hell. But see, 30 years of gaming, I can at least claim that, or 35 years of gaming, the core passion is still the same. It's being able to lose yourself in immersiveness, whether it was me playing Frogger on an old CRT TV with a console that ran on cassettes. The Commodore 64 basically had
cassettes, yeah.
the cassette, right? All the way to now, SSDs. Making sure that I have an SSD for the game I want to really play, and
Cyberpunk,
use,
yeah.
hopefully all the other shit in normal drive. But
Yeah.
that is not going to change. Whatever technology comes in the future, it's ultimately being able to lose yourself,
Yeah.
right?
That's
And
the
that is the core of the evolution. That is the core of the evolution. If you have, see, like I said, now with work and with all the other challenges we have these days, time is getting more and more precious. But that little time that we can put into losing ourselves, if you can lose yourself for that little time, just completely be taken to a new place or a different place. That's all I
Exactly.
crave for.
Yeah, I think like I would like to add a bit what Vasanth is saying, like how all of Forgotten Hope came to be. It's because we actually spend a lot of time inside GTA online. Because I mean, if it, like I said, I think I mentioned this earlier, because if it wasn't for GTA, most of us won't be here right now.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, no, it was that bad for us. Like, it was really bad, but somehow
this is how we dealt with Corona, no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of gave us, like, I mean, we couldn't go out, but every single day we meet up in Vasanth.
Yeah.
We do all the stupid
Kudu run
shit.
all day, lorry run all day.
Yeah, doing all the weird shit.
අපි ගමම
Yeah.
වගේ මචං
Yeah,
කොහෙද
yeah.
මම මෙතන ඉන්නේ
jet again. Yeah,
And
that's the thing. So like it brings people together, and I think that's one of the best things about multiplayer games. It brings people together, and even though we couldn't meet in real life or go out of our homes even, but we were there. We were meeting up on a virtual world on daily basis. We still catch up. I mean, that's where the seed for Forgotten Hope was planted. I think one of the best things I noticed, because despite all the age differences and despite all the other differences in between us, gaming kind of brought us all together.
Mhm.
That's the beauty of it, because Vasanth, yeah, he's on a whole other level, and I'm somewhere else. And then my friend Sunera is in a, I don't know where he is. Naveen is there, Sitira is there, but we are all linked together. We can forget all of our problems. Whether it's in GTA, whether it's RDR, whether it's somewhere else, Overwatch, like we are working together. And we can, yeah. So, even it's on
Yeah.
Forza, like it doesn't matter. Like we can simply forget all of our differences, come together, work as a team, get things done. I think that's one of the, I think, I mean, if we actually working in a company, all four of us or all five of us with our age difference, it would be hell. Honestly, if we are on a like actual paid working corporate environment, I'm pretty sure all of us be pulling our hairs. But it doesn't work here, happen here, because of its games. We are passionate gamers.
Yeah.
Our ages or our attitudes towards other stuff, it does not apply to when it comes to working. I think that's one of the main reasons this whole thing working very well.
We've arrived in the final and most important question that has become a tradition in this podcast at this point. Every single guest that we bring on here has to share their favorite games of all time in a 3x3 grid. Okay? And we took the time, and now all four of you have sent in your 3x3s. So in Vasanth's case, 3 by it has 8 games in it. 3 by 8. But it works out. So let's start off with Naveen's. We should be on screen for the interview. Yeah.
Let's start with Sohan because he's the one first for them.
Alright, Sohan, go right ahead.
Yeah.
Go through your choices. Go through your favorite choices here.
I think Most Wanted was, I think that was my first proper 3D game, and I really like. I think my love for exotic cars and all of that started with Most Wanted.
Okay.
And then Crisis. I think that's I would say my first proper first-person shooter game.
Okay.
I tried, and I could barely play it on my first computer. I don't know, probably 18 FPS or something like that. But I think I finished it for like 7 times or 8
Okay.
until I got the hang out of it. And Crisis is also where I got my game tag or gaming name. The whole Maximum Sohan comes from Crisis.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Journey, I think I mentioned in the podcast as well earlier. And so yeah, I think Journey kind of, it was a journey, as the name suggests. That game is a journey indeed. Yeah. Yeah. And then I'll start, and then GD Online. I mean, yes.
We've covered all the bases.
We covered all the bases.
Oh, God.
I think I have around like 1,200, 300 hours in GT on.
My God, is that healthy?
Lovely, yeah.
I think we all have.
We all have more than 1,000 plus hours. I'll tell you something. I don't know. One of these buggers gave me that idea. So we had to manufacture this Unfiltered, no? Yeah. We had to manufacture Kudu and some other things for our businesses. So we'll do something like this now, because the game has to be running for that thing to actually happen.
Oh.
By about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, we are done, or 3 o'clock, and then it will say, I leave the game running.
Yeah.
Then I put alarms. and then say by
Quickly wake
about
up.
5 o'clock, I'll wake up, quickly check. All right, done. Put for delivery quickly and get the next slot ready for processing, and you do everything, whether it's illegal cash, whether it was cocaine, whether it was meth,
We
whatever the
That's
fuck
running.
it was,
I
right?
gun running.
That madness, and this madness went on even after work from home was done in 2 months, because our business, now job, you have to be at the studio. So they wake up by about 6:30 in the morning, make sure like Dhamma, so that by and when I go to work, the machine is still running.
Yeah.
Higher 6 o'clock, then message to the group. Machang, cow the
Delivery.
I swear to God, Vas.
And
I think we all put 1,000 hours within 3 months. I think.
Yeah.
easily. When I first started with a different group, and all we were doing was killing each other and blowing shit up and all of that. We properly got serious during Corona.
Yeah.
But like we were doing the business contracting because of Corona.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
like as in we are like earning money in real life, we were
No. We had no income in real life, but we were billionaires in GT.
Oh, Ekal, everything was on hold. Yeah, but yes. Sorry, back to you.
When GTA becomes the subject of the conversation, you all go mad. Okay,
Yeah.
let's go through the games briefly.
Okay.
Let's go.
I'll come to Assassin's Creed. I'll keep it for the last, and
Okay.
then Division 2. That's my more like the daily game.
Okay.
I think I have another 1,000 hours into Division 2 as well.
God, okay.
Yeah. I think yeah. So both being live service games, both GT Online and Division 2, like all that new content, the stories, the new gameplay stuff, it keeps you hooked into the game, and then and one thing you will know, the next thing you will know, you have 1,000 hours.
Okay.
And then Doom, I think when Doom came out, the reboot, the 2015 one, I was in a pretty bad. I was kind of going through a very depressive time back then. But then I took it out on the demons.
Of course.
That's not bad. It actually helped me to like manage my anger, or like I come from work very frustrated, and then like, you know what, I'm gonna murder some demons, and
Yeah.
Doom holds a very, very special place in my.
To this day.
I think that's the same thing Naveen did to us in GTA.
Oh yes. Ayyo,
GTA. But
Sorry.
about Doom, right? To this
Yeah.
day, when I go on the bus and like it's crowded, I'm listening to the BFG Division music,
Yeah.
and I'm like imagining like all kinds of torture in my head, just to, like, deal with the fact that I'm being mushed by 5 different people from 5 corners. And by the end of the bus ride, I'm feeling perfectly happy and giddy. So I get you.
Even though, yes, that's the thing. That's the thing about Doom music. Like, it actually makes you calm. You can actually focus on one thing. You play it, blast it in your ears, and then you can go in complete zen.
Mick Gordon did a fabulous job with the music.
Oh yes,
Yeah, let's keep going.
that's the thing. And then Witcher Wild Hunt. I mean, how can I actually describe that game, or the scope, or the storytelling? It's a masterpiece. And so same can be said about Red Dead Redemption 2. The choices, the presentation, the world building, the character writing, I think I would say Witcher I would give like 9 out of 10, but for RDR2, solid 10. The experience, you can completely lost yourself in that map. That game it's phenomenal, and I mean, you can't really.
Yeah,
It's a whole other thing.
you can lose yourself in the game pretty easily.
Yeah.
So
And then
Assassin's Creed.
yes, I think, and I kind of realized this today. I thought I was drawn to toxic women, but then I realized I have a love-hate relationship with Assassin's Creed to start with for the last 15 years.
That's one way to put it, I guess. Okay, go.
Yeah. So like, I mean, when I first saw the AC1 trailer back in 2017, I was like, wow, okay, that the parkour, the assassinations, the music, and everything. That seeing Untitled for the first time, it blew completely blew my teenage head off. And then SEO's trilogy came out, and then AC3, and then the whole subsequent 15 years of madness.
Yeah.
The storytelling, despite all the criticism, I don't think I think I mean I basically covered all. I have read all the stories, comic books, and all of the other stuff, and like I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but I can easily consider myself as a walking Assassin's Creed wiki.
Okay. I have a question. Okay, there's only
Okay.
one right answer for this. What's the best Assassin's Creed trailer in existence right now?
For me, I would say the Brotherhood cinematic. Thread.
Unity for me.
Not Unity for me. Keep going. Everybody else?
Not a fan.
Yeah, he's
Unity
not.
because the music track that came with that and the whole thing. I mean, I played that trailer I think about 10 times when it came out.
Yeah. Well, I just put the trailer into this
Okay. Yeah.
into the
Yeah.
Unfiltered
Yeah.
podcast. You can
Yeah.
check it out later. But it's the Revelations official E3 reveal trailer, the one with the Woodkid song.
Yeah.
Iron.
Yes.
This day the most.
Yeah.
Okay. It's in my head to this day. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay. Who's
Yeah,
next?
Okay,
This
me.
is Hammer,
Go
right?
ahead.
Yeah, let me finish on one thing. So,
Okay.
AC played a huge role in my teenage years. I ended up actually tattooing the AC crest to my neck. So,
Okay.
yeah, so I'm gonna probably take it to my grave. So, yeah, that's the part. Love-hate relationship with that franchise. Like, I don't know where it is going with the whole gameplay, but story, yes.
Yeah.
I will always buy the game.
Let's hope they won't fuck up Assassin's Creed Infinity, the concept, right?
Yeah, it's a good one. We'll see.
That's
Fingers
it.
crossed. Yeah, okay.
Naveen, take it away, man.
Yeah. So I have a good. How do you say it? I'm an indie gamer. So
Uh-huh.
most of the games you see is like indie. So first thing is Hades. I fucking love that game. So like the art style, the story, the gameplay mechanics, everything like it's perfectly done. So yeah, like Hades is like I played like I out of 49 achievement I have 48 achievements, so I only have one achievement left. So yeah, one of the best indie games ever made.
Mhm.
Then the same studio, the Transistor,
Okay.
like this game also like have one of the best soundtrack, the art style and everything. The Transistor is like one of that game that got me into indie gaming. I think this is the second game that I purchased in my life.
Okay.
Transistor. Yeah. So even both Hades and Transistor, they came from the same studio, the Supergiant.
Mhm.
I mean, seriously, their soundtracks, their storytelling, their arts, I'm like top notch. Like you can't just argue with those things.
Mhm.
Then the Firewatch, the inspiration which gave the Forgotten Hope.
Exactly.
Yeah. I just love the art style. The stylized art style.
Mm.
It's bloody amazing, and the choices you make just really make an impact. The conversation you had with the Lila. I mean, it's really like make the difference. And the next game is sorry.
No, keep
Yeah.
going.
Yeah. So the next game is the Inside.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like have you played the game?
Yep. I played almost.
Yeah,
I
so-
played a lot of the stuff in this list. I'm surprised.
Yeah. So the Inside made by the studio Playdead, and they're the one who made Limbo.
Mhm.
So they are like the Nolans when it come to Christopher Nolans when it come to gaming. That's really fucked up your brain
Yeah.
after playing Inside. And I was like, what the hell should I just play? So Life is Strange. Holy shit. Where am I gonna start?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, like the mild love for narratives games came from like Life is Strange, you know, like the way they present the story, like where they tell the story in episodic manner. You know, even the choices you make, they really make the difference. The art style, it's very simple, but you know, it's really make an impact. I remember like playing the game for the first time, and you know, like we can like time travel and everything. Like, it's bloody amazing. And the Desto, this is one of the games that I played recently. Like, man, this game just started as a normal, how do you say, a normal hack and slash game
Mm-hmm.
where you play a character, Crow, and it's a Reaper, and you collect, you go and fight monsters to collect their souls. You know, it has a like when I just started playing that game, it was like a, how do you say, like a normal game, like a
What you'd
normal hack and
expect,
slash.
yeah.
Yeah, like a normal hack and slash game with a simple story. Man, that story goes into rabbit hole. Like, even the soundtrack, you know, and it's made by only 2 people.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah. I mean, give it a try. It's an amazing game.
I have not played that. I'm gonna give it a try. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But the soundtrack is amazing. The gameplay, the story, like it's next level.
Okay.
And we all know the Witcher 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I took my sweet time with that game. I played that game for I think a whole year.
Oh my god.
You know, I just like sometimes I just go inside game and I don't do any quest. I don't do any like missions. I just sometimes just like write Roach, and you know sometimes I just do some crafting. You
Ah,
know, yeah, the inventory management.
okay.
Yeah, like I just immerse myself in that game. I just sometimes you encounter, you know, quest when you're walking around. I mean, it's a bloody amazing.
I've had a very weird habit of like, using mods to make like the lighting of the game better and then take screenshots. Like the game
Yeah,
is
I think
amazing
yeah,
screenshot
I
making,
think that's Sohan. Like he's the one who messed with the mods,
Yeah.
especially in Witcher. Yeah,
Yeah. I think I had like 50 mods installed when I actually
Yeah.
played Witcher, and I basically customized the whole game to my liking. Like, fuck this, I don't want the RPG or I don't want to spend time managing my inventory, unlimited inventory.
Yes, of course.
for me, like managing inventory, like it's a like a something scenting to me. Like I just love to manage inventories. Yeah.
We have
So yeah.
we have another
Witcher
Witcher
3.
game here. Holy shit. Okay.
Yeah. So many people don't know about this game, the Throne Breaker.
Mm,
You know, I think this like
it was a completely different gameplay experience compared to
yeah,
this
like
other-
this is the how do you say, the action is like based on Gwent.
Mm,
So like very simple mechanics in there. So like the story, I mean it's like bloody amazing. I mean sometimes like I can't choose between the Witcher and the Thronebreaker when it comes to storytelling. The amount of the choices that you have to make, especially
mm.
like it's like some like when it comes to Witcher, like when you choose a dialogue option, you are making a decision for Geralt.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Thronebreaker, you are like the main protagonist is the Queen Maeve,
Mm.
and so like you are making a whole decision for the entire like the country,
Mm.
like your people. Like you have to worry about your allies, you have to worry about the people, you have to worry about the enemy. Like things can go very bad, like just like that if you make the wrong decision.
Mm.
So I think Thronebreaker, that game doesn't really get recognized. Like I don't know why, but it's one of the best games CDPR ever made.
Okay.
Like I think next to Witcher 3, I think that should be the best game they ever made.
Mhm.
Like the amount of storytelling, the decision you have to make, like it's just amazing. Like even the choices, they make a really impact in the game.
Hmm.
Like
We
like
have-
everyone you try, yeah.
And-
So the last thing is I'm still playing that game, still haven't finished it.
Okay.
The Vasanth, I and Sunera, they gifted me this game for my birthday
Okay.
because I'm a huge Kojima fan, and I did a cosplay for the Comic Con also. Like, have you seen it?
No, but I'm probably gonna look for it and put
Yeah.
it in the podcast so people to see.
Yeah.
If you can go to Kojima's Twitter, you can see a retweet
Ah,
with
yeah,
some.
yeah,
Oh, oh,
Yeah.
holy
Yeah,
shit.
But you'll have to scroll, take a bicycle and scroll all the way up. Yeah.
I'll find
Yes.
it. Don't worry.
So I posted a picture and like I tagged Kojima and his studio, and he retweeted that post.
Hmm. Okay.
So yeah, Death Stranding, I would say is like you shouldn't play it as a video game. You should like enjoy it as some sort of like movie, because Death Stranding is like, it's not a typical game. Like you really need to put the effort. You need to have the patience to enjoy it. So I don't think like I think that's where the most people didn't like it, because
Yeah,
like you need to be
the general consensus is that it was a walking simulator.
yeah, but it's like it's a very conscious walking simulator. It's just not walking. Like you need to be really careful about your surrounding, and like it's like when even the first 2 hours, like, it's not a game. Like the Kojima presented it as a movie. So something like that. So yeah, I'm still playing it. I'm still halfway, not halfway. It's still in the beginning. So it's still a long way to. I'm taking things slowly, like the Witcher. It might take a year to finish this, just like Witcher.
Yeah, take your time with it.
Yeah.
All I'm hearing are excuses of why this bug is still not playing the damn game, because when he got the thing for him, it took him 3 months to bloody get onto the game.
Oh
Yeah,
my.
Hurry. And then that also, then like 1 or 2 days I see on this thing, no, I have to play. Yeah, I have to put time. Yeah, I have to get Yahoo! I was like,
I mean, it's not a game where you just go do a mission and come. Like you have to commit, like to that. Like even when you're going for a run, like you have to worry about your baggage. Like you need to prepare stuff. Like things can go bad just like that.
Sithira,
Yeah.
it's your turn to share.
Yes. So I would start with Overwatch.
Okay.
Overwatch actually holds a special position in all of our hearts, because like before Black Hammer Studios, before GT Online, we all got together, like bond together in Overwatch.
Okay.
To be honest, right? So like me, Naveen, Sohan, Vasanth, we all were like, like we were strangers at Comic Cons and all, but like from Overwatch we became very close, right? And we had lots of like, even for Overwatch we had like I think more than 1,000 of hours spent in this game.
Ah, that's 3,000 hours.
Yeah, so that's a game we still play it up to this date even. And so that's
I think
one
that's
of my
also we all of us realize how toxic we can be.
Ah, yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Let's keep it brief, but we'll
Yeah,
go with
yeah,
the next games as well.
Yeah. And then of course Battlefield 3 back in the day. Oh my god, that multiplayer, like I entered the, like I first I enjoyed a multiplayer game was from Battlefield, and that was like a massive deal back in the day. And then of course Forza Horizon, like the whole franchise from 3 to 4 to 5 up to this date, we play weekly for Forza, right?
Yeah. The infamous for Thursday Forza nights, I heard.
Yeah. And then there is Red Dead Redemption 2, which is like the next level open world and storytelling. Of course, you can't never dislike that game.
Yep.
And then also Assassin's Creed franchise. I mostly like the earlier games like as in LTS ones and ACOS games, especially.
Mhm.
And then
Oh no.
yeah, that
Oh no.
Yeah, we can skip that.
yeah, we can skip GT Online.
Yeah.
And I also love Doom Eternal. I don't know,
Yes.
the 2016 Doom. That's a hell of a intensive games.
Yeah.
Those
Rip
games.
and tear.
Yeah. And then again, I'm like a big fan of action adventure games with superheroes, involved in superheroes. That's
Yes.
where Spider-Man and Batman Arkham series comes in.
Hell
Uh,
yeah.
you know,
So Arkham
that's
City was your favorite Arkham game?
um. Well, I love all the games. I would say. I mean, I can't pick a favorite one, but I would say Arkham City was good. Yeah.
Alright. Vas, we have your set now. So
Okay, briefly.
let's go.
So Battlefield 4, like I said, when it first came out. Actually, no. Let me start with Red Alert because there was a period of time where I built my first machine, but for some reason I was heavily into RTS games.
Okay.
And Red Alert 2 was way before that. That was, again, I'm a sucker for cutscenes. And when Red Alert 2 came, just the installation alone, right, was insane. When you install the game, it had all these weird stats and stuff that while you're installing, this was crazy to me. But then the game itself, the humor, the cutscenes, all of that, it Red Alert 2, the entire Command and Conquer franchise as a whole holds a very special place in my heart.
Hmm.
But it was actually before Battlefield, it was Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 when I was able to get a more decent graphics card. This was 2008, and I got the GTX 9600.
Okay.
When I was, yeah, and then this friend who, when he found out I got this card and I got this setup, it's like, yeah, I'm giving you a whole bunch of DVDs, and he gave me like a massive stack of games, out of which half of those I didn't play. Sorry, Assassin's Creed, but Modern Warfare 2, everybody was talking about, right? The year later. So I quickly got onto it. And holy shit, that brought me back to FPS. Properly brought me back to FPS because before that, my FPS was like the old Doom. The older game.
all do, yeah.
Deus Ex Machina, and all those games before that. Like I said, mid 2000s, it was more RTS.
Mm.
And on the other side of the board is Need for Speed Most Wanted. Need for Speed, I was heavily in from my first experience, which was 2, Need for Speed 2, way back in 96, I think 96 years.
Mm-hmm.
But Most Wanted was so insane that I actually, and I'm not proud to say this, I went and basically nicked a card from somewhere. I won't say where, right? It's a FX 5200 NVIDIA, right? And I put that into my machine
Oh,
that I had built because I had a shit card at that time. And then
my God.
the only reason was it was fine. I put it back. Just to test this game out. Everybody is talking about Most Wanted, and holy crap, the customization, all that other stuff, the whole underground scene, right? For me, was insane. It was underground first, and then Most Wanted after that.
Same. Keep going.
Yeah, but Need for Speed as a franchise came back to me in a powerful way because of this game, more than anything else.
Okay.
Witcher, everybody said everything you have to say about it. I think I put about at least 250 hours or more in that game, and I still go. I'm on Plus now. I still go when I randomly just need to lose myself sometimes. I have this thing, right? Everybody, you guys probably know now. Everybody, I don't uninstall games.
Oh,
I
yeah.
have, I think, about 8 TB of hard drive space now, and all my games are still there. So
Oh.
once in a while, I go into Witcher. One of the games that is like Witcher but not on this list, but comes close, is Skyrim. So it's a split between those two.
We will be making a proper 3x3 for you to be displayed.
I
on
already
the
did.
internet.
If you look, I've done the 3x3 properly this time.
Oh, you
Then-
did?
Yes. Go check.
Oh,
And then the other game, Forza, like you said, we're fanatics for Forza, comes all the way from Need for Speed, so every Thursday night.
okay.
Mass Effect. Man, that was the other game from that stack of CDs. There was no Mass Effect 3 at that time. There was no Mass Effect 2. It was Mass Effect 1.
Mhm.
The only thing that pissed me off is the driving mechanics, the original game, which they've rectified thankfully with the Legendary Edition. But
Mhm.
the game itself was insane, and the story after playing 2 and 3, like you had this entire universe, and when 3 ended, whatever your choice was, right, you still felt like a part of your soul was gone after the game was done because there's no news of whether it would continue or not. It felt like leaving a friend behind, leaving a universe behind. It's still, I'm praying, this game that are teasing now
Hmm.
actually take back to that. Uh, Grand Theft Auto, do I have to say anything? No, I won't.
No, God, no. That's enough.
Right?
Oh.
I
Right?
think for Witcher, like I think we are all waiting for the
Remastered.
remastered
Coming.
one.
Yeah.
For me, especially why I didn't include whichever is like I have played both 1 and 2, like pretty much everything. And for the 3, for some reason I don't know why by the time of release I just rushed through the game. I didn't I didn't explore. I didn't do any crafting. Like I didn't spend enough time to like properly enjoy the game. So now I'm waiting for my second run to be played on the next gen
Yes.
version. So until then, I am not like including this
Yeah.
in
See,
the list.
Citra, that's a war
Yeah,
crime.
Citra regrets his choices.
Yeah,
So
that's a war
like I
crime.
said, he's still chained to the bed. So yeah,
Uh,
that bad.
Witcher, uh, like again, go back to Witcher was the other thing. That was the other amazing thing about that was tying up with Mass Effect. When I finally stopped playing it, like I do randomly, but when I actually probably stopped playing it, it still felt like a part of my soul. But this thing was, left behind in Tucson.
Okay.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare, like I said, FPS, but also Call of Duty as a franchise, story, brilliant. Which brings me down to my center game, my favorite game right
Uh,
now. The fact that I have an RTX card, all of that, I invested in Cyberpunk. Yes, there's a lot of controversy, there's a lot of things, but I still argue, to me personally, if you take all the executive level decisions out of it, it's still a brilliant game. And I'm not willing to go through and finish the first playthrough because I'm afraid that what I shared about Mass Effect and whichever will happen with this, when the story is done,
Yeah.
there's
ah,
replay. It's definitely a replayable game, but there's a emotional investment with the characters and all of that with this world.
You
So
don't want things to
that,
end. Yeah.
yeah.
so what I do is I just go and I start doing side missions. I just keep doing side missions, and with the new improvements and with the tie-in, the transmedia. I mean, bloody hell, Edge Runners and Witcher is one of the best examples of transmedia.
Ah,
To have that to me personally, but to be in that world, to see, to experience, because I'm a sci-fi freak. More than anything else, more than any other genre, sci-fi exploration, all of that holds a big space. Now, yes, there's no space exploration here. That will be remedied very soon with Starfield when it comes out, hopefully.
mm,
But Witcher to me is like a sorry, Cyberpunk to me is like that's what I'm getting. It's like a continuation of all that I felt in Witcher into a more sci-fi. That's why I love this game. I still play it at least once a week, and I'm hoping that at some point, even though the rumors are that it may or may not happen, I hope at some point there'll be a multiplayer release so that I can then get others on board and
ah.
get on it.
Have another
Honorable
GTA.
mentions. Yes, honorable
Cyberpunk
mentions.
Online.
Yes, honorable mentions will be Red
Yeah.
Dead Redemption 2 for all the reasons these guys already talked about.
Mhm.
Division 2 definitely was a game really was heavily into, but then replayability and time and so on and so forth.
Mm.
And yeah, that's my grid.
Oh God. Okay, that was. Cyberpunk again. The day they fix the driving in Cyberpunk is the day I start playing it again. Until then, they'll have to see me just watch through the door for now. And thank you all for actually sharing all of this. I know this is supposed to be the getting to know part, and this is like the most fun part, honestly, for me to cover. And especially I have to thank Blackham Studio for taking all this time. I think this is like we started podcast around 9:30 and it is 1 a.m. now.
Bloody hell.
Blood,
Yeah.
fuck, where did the time go, right? But
Yeah.
thank you very much for like taking the time to be here, be part of this journey, like, and thank you for sharing your very intimate journey with the video game with all of us as well, and for giving Game Changer exclusive access to like all that you've been doing with this. And my hope, as I mentioned before as well, is that by sharing this, we will get all other potential game developers to step up their game and bring the Lankan development team up to its standards as well. So Naveen, Sohan, Sitra, thank you very much for being here
And thank
doing
you
what
for
you're
having
doing.
us also.
Thank you,
Here,
guys.
Yeah.
really enjoyed this.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
I really hope you did, because otherwise it's a bit of a slogfest. So
Ah. No, it
No,
was
no,
pretty fun. Like,
Yeah.
we are clearly having fun.
So again,
Yeah.
and Vas,
Yeah.
with all that you have and with the office job that will probably start in 8 hours, thank you for taking thank you for taking the time to be here. Share your journey with the team and tell us more about you, and it's amazing to have you here. That's all I'm gonna say. Other people
Glad to
involved
be
in
here.
LCC, it's bloody beautiful. So yeah. Anyways, this is the part where we say goodbye. The thing is, we don't have a proper way of saying goodbye. So pick one between sayonara and goodbye and scream it in 3, 2, 1. Sayonara!
Sayonara.
Bye bye.
That's bye bye. Bye. Okay, that's it.
Yeah,
Cut.
So hi guys, by this video goes alive on the YouTube in the Game Change channel. We are having sale for game Forgotten Hope on Steam and Store.io and Humble Store. I think we are going to put it Humble Store, right, Sidira?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So and you can check it out. Link is in the description. Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
And that's all, folks.